Am I the asshole for announcing our pregnancy at my brother's wedding after he proposed at mine?
Oh, so okay, we've already had 2 faux pas here. All right.
My brother said he was going to propose at my wedding. I told him no.
Yeah, of course. Already.
I also love the way you write these.
Yeah, it's already like short,
shut.
straight to the point. Yeah.
That it was a day about myself and my wife, and we did not want any distractions.
Yeah, fair.
My mom lost her shit. She said that he wanted family he might not see again for a while to be a part of the proposal. I said I did not give a shit, and that if he did it, I would have him kicked out. He did it, and my mom said if I tried kicking him out, she would leave too. And I just remember seething inside.
Yeah, because it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Jesus.
I agree, that's fucked up. My brother got married last weekend. Instead of a welcome to the family toast, I used the time to announce that we were expecting our first baby.
You know what? Baller. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, I know it's not good, but like, come on.
Yeah.
The first stone. Sometimes someone throws a rock at you and you gotta throw a rock back. You know what I mean?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, fight fire with fire, honestly. My mom was upset, but my grandmother told her to sit down and shut up. We spent most of the reception talking to family we would not see again for a while about our coming baby.
Exactly, yeah.
My mom says I was an asshole for taking attention away from my brother on his wedding day. She got really mad when I reminded her.
What's this favoritism? Yeah.
Yeah, that she threatened to leave my wedding if I kicked him out after he proposed. I have the screen cap of the text messages.
My husband wants to stay friends with the person he cheated with.
I'm sorry, buddy. You lost that privilege.
Maybe you got to hear him out.
About 3 months ago, my husband confessed to me to having an affair with someone he has known since school. She has always been a close friend of his. The affair lasted almost 2 years, and he was very conflicted with whether he wanted to give up on our marriage or stay and work on it. We have been together over 20 years. And have 3 young children. I did not want to give up on it and encouraged him to stay. He stayed, and although his reasons for staying are the children, we both have been working hard on rebuilding a new relationship. We began marriage counseling, and we have a deeper communication with one another. I've been initiating more intimacy, and things seem to be going well. From our first marriage counseling sessions, he talked about his feelings for his affair partner, saying he loves her and that he would like for her to still play some part in his life. The marriage counselor says that while he has feelings for her, it wouldn't be appropriate.
I'd take back about hearing him out. Yeah.
I thought with time he would simply forget about her and shift focus to what's important, i.e. his family, his wife. But last week he brought her up again and wanted to know if he can reconcile with her and have a friendship with her. I said I wasn't ready. I'm hoping to stall this until he stops asking. He said he understood that it might be too soon. I am worried if I never allow him to speak to her, he might just start talking to her behind my back. Though currently he seems so committed to being honest with me, but that could change with time as his guilt for cheating begins to fade.
2 years? Behind her back for 2 years.
As I said, his main reason for staying are the kids. I'm keen on having a strong relationship with us. That can't be possible if she is reintroduced into his life. His feelings for her will probably come flooding back if they have gone at all. I don't understand how he can't see that. I don't know whether continually blocking him from engaging with her will breed resentment over time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately.
There's only one answer.
Divorce.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Give him the D.
I was listening to Tish Cyrus, and I was so just inspired by her because she was talking about her insecurities when she was staying with Billy, which her ex-husband, and how she thought that if they got divorced, that she would just be alone forever. She would never love again. And then she ended up finding literally the man of her dreams. And she's married to him now, and she's so in love, and she's just over the moon. And I just thought it was so inspiring because it really does feel like that sometimes. It does feel like, how will I find someone else? How will I find someone? Like, and I can't imagine being in a marriage for that long, that many years, and having children, and then being so afraid to leave and to be alone.
Yeah.
And so I think that what I'm hearing from this story is that I feel she's probably feeling some of those things and just trying to force it to work, even though it doesn't sound like it's fair to her. It shouldn't.
I think she's a great testament to like, why stay? Why continue to torture yourself? Because when you do leave, she's a success story. Like, you do deserve better. You deserve someone that loves you and isn't just staying for the kids. Like, how many times did she say that here?
Yeah.
He's made it clear he's only staying for the kids.
Yeah.
Only for the kids. what about you?
Yeah.
Are you not deserving of love? Are you not worthy of a partner? He literally had an affair behind your back for 2 years, and his only concern right now
Is being friends with her
is
still.
being friends with her
Yeah.
still. How can we talk? Can I reconcile with her?
Mhm.
Literally day 1 marriage counseling, he's talking about how much he loves her.
Yeah.
Where do you go from here? Because I think it does breed resentment. I think eventually he does go behind her back again.
Oh yeah, it's inevitable.
This is
where
yeah.
by doing it now, I don't know if you call it saving time, but you are jumping out of the car before it crashes. Like, it's happening.
Yeah.
This is
Put your
he's
parachute
shown,
on at least.
he's literally shown that, because obviously they're not going to be friends. How could you go back to being
Yeah.
friends?
Mhm.
And in all reality, that's where his feelings and his love is. So it'll be best for you. It's going to be best for him. It's going to be best for your kids. Happy parents separated are better
Yes.
than sad parents together
Yeah.
for any kid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so you're just doing it now before it's going to inevitably happen.
My brother-in-law is the reason why my husband left me. I don't know what to do now.
All right, I'm buckling up.
Getting
for this.
into it. We're getting into it. I, female 38, met my brother-in-law, 38, at uni. He asked me out in our first year, and I refused. He called me the C word and that I am shallow. My best friend told me that it was a harmless comment from a drunken guy who got rejected. I never thought of myself as shallow. It was his demeanor and awkwardness that was off-putting to me. Anyways, he proved my friend right, and other than these comments, I have never felt uncomfortable during my uni years because he never bothered me again. Not even looked my way. Next time I met him was when my baby sister, female 28, introduced him to me as her boyfriend. I didn't even recognize him at first because it was like 9 to 10 years since that day he talked to me. He was visibly annoyed that I didn't recognize him, and he called me a liar. The family was skeptical at first about him, but he seemed to treat my sister right, and she seemed happy. Parentheses, he is very rich. Taking her all over the world, and he seemed kind with her too. They got married after a year of dating. They now have 3 children. I met my now ex, male 40, 5 years ago, and the only odd comment from my brother-in-law was that I was still as shallow and superficial as I was in university. At the time, I took it as a joke, but in hindsight, when I found out the truth and started thinking back looking for red flags, this was probably a big one. He never showed any signs that he disliked my husband, and he was always decent enough with his indifference to have a close friendship with my husband and I. Didn't seem odd because he was always kind of a recluse anyways. A year ago, my husband came home and accused me of cheating, and he had evidence. The guy contacted him and he had nudes, etc. of me on his phone. The guy told my husband that he didn't know at first that I was married, but as soon as he found out, he contacted my now ex. He even apologized to my husband. I have never met this guy in my life. Nothing I said or did made my husband believe me. He left me and our divorce is pending. Then yesterday, the guy contacted me. He apologized for what he did and told me that he is friends with my brother-in-law. He sent me conversations, endless conversations my brother-in-law had about me for years. He has never forgotten that I, in his words, quote, didn't even give him a chance and only judged him by his looks. He called me a C word in that chat too. Both group chat with his friends, but mostly with this guy. They planned this attack, and my brother-in-law somehow got access to my photos. The reason this guy contacted me now is that he felt guilty because even when my marriage is over, my brother-in-law still was angry and hateful, especially when he heard that I was on a date last weekend. So the friend felt that he didn't help his friend, but ruined innocent people's lives instead. Not sure what to do. My brother-in-law has actually been happier and more sociable than usual since my divorce, and now I know why, although first I thought he felt sorry and wanted to support me. He jokes about me ending up an old maid with cats as companions, and it doesn't sound like jokes anymore. He means them. I don't want to ruin my sister's life. She's very happy with her husband. I'm not sure if I should tell my ex or not. I am very heartbroken that he didn't believe me. I love him very much. He is the love of my life. But I'm not sure if I can forgive him for not believing me. But he is a victim in this too, so maybe he needs to know for closure. I'm so terribly sad and hurt. I'm sorry this post has gotten very long.
Oh my god. A lot of elements to this one. A lot of shitty people in this one.
Oh my God.
So this guy's a monster, has held on to a rejection from over 10 years or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Still holding that level of resentment is psychopathic. That's wild. This friend of the brother-in-law's just went along with this plan. I mean, are they both in on, that's a crime, I believe.
Revenge porn.
Yeah, that they both are
They could-
within that. I think
Yeah.
she should communicate this whole thing to someone because that's a crime. And I mean, in regards to her saying, I don't want to ruin my sister's life, her brother-in-law ruined her sister's life. When you commit a crime of that level, you're ruining everyone's life around you.
Yeah.
So yeah, she should absolutely tell.
I would definitely press charges for the revenge porn. I would be very scared, actually, that he still has access to whatever home cameras or your cell phone, your iCloud.
Where the hell did he get that stuff? Because that's terrifying.
That's
that's
scary.
another thing.
Hacking.
So I don't know what, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what levels of crimes, how many have been committed here, but I know there's at least a couple. He's stalking her.
I mean, at minimum, it kind of feels like that. And like, there's so much to unpack here because it's like, did he plant cameras in her house? How did he get those photos? But at the same time, like stalking. Did he actually meet the sister organically? Or was he still so pissed at this woman for denying him in college one random drunken night that he then sought out her sister?
I think it's safe to assume that, but like, how are you going to find that out? But I am very curious where these photos came from. She didn't really go into more details of what they were, and that's fair, but that's shocking as hell. And it is sad that the husband just immediately was like, divorce, I'm done. It's like, you don't want to ask a single more. I mean, especially if she shows her husband these text messages, then he'll know. At that stage, I don't know what I would do as her, because now you know, like, oh, you didn't trust me for a second. That's tough. But she absolutely should not just keep this a secret.
No, you have to tell him.
Yeah.
You have to. There are a lot of comments from OP, which the top comment on this one does kind of pick up on the fact, it wouldn't shock me if this guy found your sister and is dating her just to remain close to you.
Yeah.
And OP does respond, I feel so too. It makes it even worse.
I hate that there's children involved in this too.
Yeah, 3.
That sucks. I don't think it changes any of the actions she should take.
I think, unfortunately, I think the sister stays with him. Like, if we're imagining how this plays out, if everything else in their life is perfect, I don't think she's going to let this ruin her life.
It makes it extra scary how much he can put on a facade. That even OP was like, oh yeah, I think things are fine. And then it turns out, no, he was obsessed this whole time to a degree that is borderline fiction. I don't know what you do. This is a situation that doesn't have a good outcome no matter what.
No. And you honestly need to for your own safety.
Oh, yeah.
This is just not safe or healthy for you anymore.
Right.
We do have some insight about the nudes and like how OP thinks he got them. Someone commented, I'm just confused how he was able to get nudes from you. Maybe you should be careful about having pics like that in your regular photo album and put them in a hidden folder. They also make apps for that kind of stuff. If your brother-in-law had it in for you, then not much you can do about that. And since your ex is out of the picture, it's time for you to move on and live your best life and close this chapter of heartbreak you've experienced. It's not her responsibility to go through extra steps to hide these photos.
That's crazy.
But OP does respond, they're on my iPhone and my husband's, which if he had the pictures, how did he not recognize like, oh, she sent these to me? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right. Yeah. Especially then.
But OP does comment shortly after and says, oh God, I just remembered something. My sister has my passcodes. He is an IT guy, but maybe it wasn't that he hacked my accounts or something complicated. Maybe she just gave him the password.
I mean, if it's on their iPhones and this guy knows IT, it's probably something he accessed. It's still, that's such a breach of privacy, and it's still the same level of behavior that I think is so dangerous and wild. I don't know what to say at that. Like, it's nuts.
No, and it's still very fresh. I mean, it's only a day old. I feel we're going to get an update on this one, so we'll all keep an eye out. But I think OP has been well supported by friends and family. She makes a comment that they believed her, at least.
Good.
And then does say, like, I'm very hurt and angry that he didn't believe me, but let's face it, I would have probably done the same thing.
I'm dating this girl for about 5 months. I knew her family was well off based on stories she told me about her upbringing. The house wasn't just huge, but it also employed a staff of about 8 people. I was never used to being served like that, and I witnessed some behaviors from my girlfriend and some of her family towards the workers that made me feel uncomfortable. After our first night, I heard her mother tell one of the housekeepers to clean my bedroom my girlfriend and I were staying in. I told her mother everything was in order and that I already made our bed before leaving. Her Her mother then told me, in the presence of the housekeeper, that I shouldn't bother because that's her job. The other morning, I went into the kitchen to grab some coffee and saw the cooks were already starting to prep for lunch. So I told them I didn't want to bother them and made the coffee myself. My girlfriend came into the kitchen moments later and saw me making coffee, and later that day she complained to her mother that the cooks let me make my own coffee. As soon as we came back, I couldn't hold it any longer and told my girlfriend it made me really uncomfortable to see how she behaved towards the staff. My sister cheated on her husband with a mutual friend. Do I reveal all? My sister has been married for 4 years. Her husband took a job that required him to work away from home for a lengthy period. During this period, my sister engaged in sexual relations on a semi-regular basis with a mutual friend, who is also married and has a child. Knowing all parties in this, I am looking for advice on whether or not to tell the spouses of both cheating partners or leave it alone. The husband is back now and sister is acting full of love and adoration.